What's up, horror fans? I'm the Slasher Movie Reviewer, and to get you guys excited for Halloween, I thought I'd show you the horror films that I will be watching and that I know most of you guys will probably enjoy, and I think you ought to check out to make your horror viewing experience all the more greater. My very first horror film, and I love this film to death, and it's the movie that got me into horror films, the original Friday the 13th. I saw this film back in the 7th grade. Love this film to death. It's a straight up slash flick that is amazing, and it's run 80 sequels, and the first one will always remain the best, and it also spun a terrible remake, and yeah. But this one, the first one, is amazing, and I own all the Friday the 13th, even the terrible remake, just simply because I owe this series my life. It's a foreign film called Them. I love this movie to death. As a matter of fact, the first time I watched it, it was like 1:30 at night, and basically it is about a couple in a house who have visitors at night, and they're terrifying. And a matter of fact, Them, I think, is in the process of getting remade to an American version. And matter of fact, you think that you might have already seen an American version of Them, and that's also on my list. And that is The Strangers, another couple that gets terrorized at night. And, oh, let's not look at that. I'm ashamed about what happened there. Yeah, The Strangers. This movie scared the death out of me, just like Them. I saw this film in the theaters, actually not really knowing much about this film, and I was terrified. This film is sort of a love it or hate it kind of movie, basically, because it comes down to like the ending, and I think the ending is perfect. It matches the title of the film, hands down, and I think it's an awesome movie, and definitely creepy on the creep factor. It's probably at a 13. Being the Gravedancers. Now, the Gravedancers is, I'm going to just read it off the back. After a drunken night of dancing on graves, a group of friends are haunted by 3 havoc-minded ghosts bent on revenge. Now, this film is extremely independent. It was filmed here in my home state of North Carolina. It's actually one of my favorite horror films, simply for just how independent this film is. I love this movie to death. Yeah, the special effects get cheesy towards the end and stuff like that, but this film is undeniably a whole lot of fun, and I love this movie to death. And yeah, the Gravedancers, and it's the best After Dark Horror Fest film that has ever come out. Another After Dark Horror Fest film I enjoy, Penny Dreadful. And I'll just read it back. A young woman traumatized by a childhood auto accident crosses paths with a mysterious hitchhiker who preys upon her worst fears. Another great movie. It's very kind of claustrophobic. The girl's in the car. Can't get out of the car because if she does, the killer will get her. And the final After Dark horror film I enjoy, and these are all from the first season, is Wicked Little Things. Now, this movie is so wicked and so much fun. Basically, recently widowed Karen Tunney and her 2 daughters, Sarah and Emma, moved to a remote mountain home which Karen has inherited from a family of her late husband. However, she is unaware that the home is situated near an old mine, the site of an early 20th century tragedy in which many children were buried alive. ... Great movie. John Carpenter's Halloween. Now, I mean, this film is a classic. I don't care what you Thing lovers may be, but this is John Carpenter's best film now. I think it's a classic of its kind. I mean, you just can't go wrong. This is one of the best Halloween movies to watch. If not the best, I mean, it's just, you have to watch this film on Halloween. If you don't, then it's just not Halloween. My favorite William Castle film, hands down, and my favorite black and white horror movie, by far none, is William Castle's The Tingler. I love this movie to death so much I got to read you what the back says and tell you the synopsis. Vincent Price stars as an obsessed doctor who discovers that fear manifests itself as a parasite creature which grows on the spinal cord of terrified people. If they scream, the Tingler can be destroyed. If they don't, it will sever their spinal column and kill them. He successfully isolates and removes the Tingler from a deaf mute who has been scared to death by her devious husband. And I'm not going to read you anything else because after that is actually a huge spoiler. We'll probably end up watching is The Exorcist. I mean, this film is hands down the scariest movie of all time. I mean, this movie came out in 1973, and still to this day, it looks amazing. It is an amazing movie, and any exorcism movie that comes out after this film is just another exorcism movie. And I love exorcism movies, but this is the best exorcism movie. You have to see The Exorcist. If you're a horror fan, you have to see it. You have to see it. You got to see it. My favorite director of all time is Sam Raimi. So of course I'm going to throw in a Sam Raimi pick, and that is The Evil Dead. But personally, I like Evil Dead 2 the most. I mean, this film is just so much fun. It's scary, it's fast, it's everything. And Sam Raimi is a genius, and he's the greatest director ever in my opinion. I love this guy to death. And he actually directed another movie that I have, and it's another one of my favorite movies. This little bad boy. Yeah, I don't want to say much about this little movie because all I can tell you is it's a horror comedy, and that you will be laughing, screaming, and having a good old time. And I recommend this for chicks who want a good scare, and just watch this film with a group of people. That's the best way to enjoy it, and you will be laughing, screaming your heads off. The best musical I have ever seen, and awesome to watch around Halloween. And honestly, I saw this film, God, I don't know how old I was when I saw this film, but I did not know I did not know anything about this film, and I watched it, and I've loved it, and it's hands down the greatest musical I have ever seen. Some Paranormal Activity, you know, if you found footage lovers like myself, and if you don't like Paranormal Activity, I recommend Grave Encounters. I think you will enjoy that. Or the Blair Witch Project, which I don't have out here. One movie I don't mind searching and hooking up the VHS player for is the Blair Witch Project. Now, this movie scared the crap out of me. I don't know what it is about quiet, creepy films that really get me, but this film scared me, and who knew tricks, who knew sticks and rocks and noises were so terrifying. Case 39 can sit on the shelf for years and get sent into the theaters, and so should this film. But no, it got thrown straight off the DVDs, and it's the worst movie decision they have ever made. And the fact that this film didn't get into theaters, I will always be upset, and I will constantly keep rambling about this film. I love this film. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's easily in my top 5 picks, favorite movies of all time, and that is Trick or Treat, starring Anna Paquin. This is a Tales from the Crypt sort of creep show of 4 different horror stories, all revolving around Halloween traditions and Halloween, and you cannot go wrong with this film. This film is fun, it's scary, it's just a whole lot of fun, and personally, you cannot go wrong with Trick or Treat. Watch this film. I've seen this film so many times, and it never gets old. There's so many twists and turns, and I love all the stories, but personally, I'd have to say Anna Paquin's is my favorite story, and Old Man Mr. Jinkles, he's also really good. But I mean, all the stories are great in their own terms, but I don't know. I keep going back and forth between those, but I think I'm going to settle on Anna Paquin's right now as my favorite story in this film. And this little kid, he actually pops up in all the stories. His name is Sam, and yeah, he's awesome. I mean, I cannot express. Look, screw all these other horror films. Just watch Trick or Treat. You cannot. This film is just amazing, and I mean, literally, this and John Carpenter's Halloween are a must-see every year on Halloween. Watch Trick or Treat. I really love all these films. Highly check out Trick or Treat. It is an amazing movie. Check it out. So yeah, I'm the Slasher Movie Reviewer, and you've just been slashed.